This here is footage of my Falconer build. It's a max block, 100% chance to block deck stacking Falconer build. I have another video on it. This was a build I developed in Last Epoch 1.0. I'm running here in a 500 corruption monolith. And I'm just going to show a little bit of footage. I'm going to show the full video. In the past, I only showed a link. I just featured a link to the gear. This way you can kind of look at it and see, is this going to be viable for Last Epoch 1.1 release? July 9th, it's coming up very soon. And this is just kind of showcasing the playstyle. We use Falcon Strikes, we use Dive Bomb, we have a Smoke Bomb, and we have a Ballista, which of course is to shred armor and also apply slow, and that's why we go ahead and keep that. We don't use any other skills. That's why we have that skill, and then we have Shift. And I will go through, of course, very soon, all of the details on the trees. I'll show it in this video. I got a lot of lag right here. I don't know why I had so much lag. Unfortunately, not the best content, so I ran another Echo after this. But, 500 corruption, fine. Will it be able to push much higher, 700, 800? I believe so. And, that's good. It was a lot of fun. And I'm playing it in case they had any patch updates that I had missed while I was not on Last Epoch. I'm just showing through the skills right now. They don't really sheet damage. That's why it's better just to watch as it is. But Falconer was a lot of fun. I won't be playing it again next league. And mostly I wanted to get an update out to say, hey, has this been nerfed with updates before the 1.1 release? We don't know if it will be nerfed in 1.1 yet, but likely not. It's looking likely not. So I ran one more Echo here. I have left click Dive Bomb, right click the Ballista, and then you can see obviously just the other buttons to apply the other skills. It's got a good clear rate. Running in Powered Monolith, 500 corruption, and I believe it could have done more, but I quit Last Epoch. I went back to PoE. I play a lot of PoE, as anyone who watches the channel knows, and then more recently I've played other games, Power World in particular. I'm going to be moving all my Power World content, which is not a lot, to my old channel, by the way, which is Jura. But for this channel, it's going to stay the theme. It's going to be Last Epoch, it's going to be Diablo series, and it's going to be Path of Exile. So, as you can see, it's perfectly fine, and it's a lot of fun. I do enjoy this build. I'm going to go ahead and release this mage. Truth be told, it actually feels stronger than it did for some reason. It feels more strong, and I don't have a good explanation on why. I don't think it was buffed. I went ahead and ran a tier 3 Jura, and because I didn't have tier 4, frankly. But tier 3, you're gonna be able to do. You're gonna be able to make legendary items up to eye level 70. So we'll skip ahead. I'm just gonna show the full Jura fight. I was actually really rusty at it. I didn't refresh my memory prior. I had not played Last Epoch in quite a few months. The idea, though, is you do that. You get out of there. You press D. You change timelines before you get hit with that Maven-style shockwave attack, which will one-shot most builds. And then, with the Maven theme, if you've played PoE, she does this kind of very similar beam attack, which you can dodge anytime by doing this. I'm out of potions, so here I escaped. And thankfully there was a potion on the ground when I went to the new timeline. At this point I was like, I just have to take her out. Damage is pretty good. And of course, as always with build guides of mine, you can always use it as inspiration as a starting point. This again is deck stacking. I'm going to go over those details very soon. I just wanted to show, since I was in the video already, I just grabbed stuff that I had. I happen to have a 2 LP, basically the Ice Minion Amulet, and then I had this, which had minion damage, it had health regen %, and it had LA res. Not perfect, but knowing that I had 2 LP, we know we're going to get 2 of those mods at random. Normally you would do it with 2, really wanting a perfect item. You would make sure the base is perfect, and then you would do it with 2 Exalted Affixes. But I avoided the Fizz damage, which is good. So it became a decent item. Not that it matters. This is going to standard. I don't play standard on Last Epoch. I don't play it quite enough. Now what I'm showing here, I'm just going to go ahead and show the full video of me on a boss. And, you know, again, the 500 corruption on the actual monolith boss. Now this, disclaimer, this is not fresh footage. This is right toward the end of when I played this last time. I had it on recording, so I thought I'd throw it in, because I don't think there's been any nerfs. I don't think there's been any buffs. Although I do feel stronger for some reason recently. But as I'll let it play through, the build can do it. You know, again, we use the ballista to shed armor and apply slow movement. And then we have 2 primary skills. And smoke bomb gives us all kind of buffs when we're inside the smoke bomb or when the enemy's inside the smoke bomb. Great ancillary skill. And that was like a good movement skill. Now, Last Epoch in 1.1 is adding a dodge roll mechanic because they are copying D4 and they are copying PoE 2. And I don't blame them because they are competing with those 2 games. I don't know, to a point D4, I suppose. But they are, you know, wanting to be a viable alternative to PoE. And I like both games. I think, you know, if you like PoE, you will like Last Epoch. I couldn't imagine. It's a little bit difference with crafting. Here I'm just going to hover through all of my gear. I actually use a scepter. And I don't actually need the melee attack speed, because I don't use melee. That could be replaced in a perfect world, but I was never able to get a better base, because if you look, it has minion damage on the implicit. Implicits matter big time in Last Epoch, so don't, you know, if you're newer to the game and you're looking through this, look at all the stuff at the top. That's your base. And then, you know, you can craft the rest. You can buy if you're Merchant's Guild like myself. You know, this was nice. Double Exalt. You can get 3 and 4. Very possible. And then, of course, I had these legendary Bloodroots gloves that I made myself, and it helps with my ward decay threshold. They are changing, I've heard, the way ward calculates in 1.1. We'll see what that means. I will undoubtedly have to revisit this build. So, you know, disclaimer. Oh, before I disclaimer though, right there, very important, double damage with Falcon Strikes. I had 2 for a long time. You only need 1. You only need 1. Here's all my excellent blessings that I farmed up. The circle around it, that sort of purple ring, indicates the roll on the blessing. And as you can see, I have almost like all perfect. But that's part of the game. As you play enough, they're going to be adding more endgame in 1.1. Harbingers of Ruin, there's going to be a new pinnacle boss. So there's a lot more being added. There's a nemesis mechanic, and you can upgrade your gear, I read. I'm just going through my passive tree. 8 points into Blade Dancer. You can put points into your non-ascendancy, up to the chain. Up to the chain. And so keep that in mind. You can pause the video and look through if you want to reference. But keep in mind, of course, I'm going to have the link below, which is much easier to reference. The build link. And so I'm just going through all my main skills. And, well, all the skills, frankly, that I use, period. So, you know, you can look, massive decks. 118 decks. That's a lot for this game. And 100% block chance. That's the key. And that comes about from the shield. Partially from the shield. You want to get Weaver's Will, you have to get block chance added on to the shield. The cradle of something. And I'm just going through all the stats. So there it is, my Falconer build. I'm hoping and presuming will be viable as a League starter.